Hey folks, so today I decided to record the behind the scenes of me making lunch for my husband to take to work. This is his lunch, but technically it would be my dinner because he works the second shift. Anywho, I have some scalloped potatoes, broccoli, steak, and shrimp. I didn't record making the broccoli, but it basically is just a bag of frozen broccoli and I added some salt and butter. So let's get started with the scalloped potatoes. So I started here with 1 teaspoon of minced garlic as well as 1 tablespoon of butter. And then I'm going to add in some chicken bouillon, some cayenne pepper, black pepper, onion powder, as well as some thyme. And I'm going to have all the seasonings and the ingredients and as well as the measurements in the video description, so you don't have to worry about memorizing everything here. You'll see everything in the video description. So I also added some water as well as some heavy cream and some milk. And this is just going to make the cream sauce for the scalloped potatoes. So I'm going to whisk this up really well. And then I've already sliced up some potatoes. So I'm going to add them to the cream sauce. And I'm going to make sure that they're covered with the cream sauce, and then I'm going to simmer those for about 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm going to cover that with a top. And the goal here is to get these potatoes like fork tender. So once you stick them with a fork, they're tender enough. And while that's all happening, I'm going to grate some sharp cheddar cheese. This is about 1.5 cups here. And once that's been shredded, I'm going to start spooning out the potatoes, and I'm putting this into a casserole dish. I've already buttered it, added some butter onto the sides of the casserole dish, and now I'm spooning the potatoes in there. And then once I get one layer of potatoes, I'm going to add some cheddar cheese on top of that. And then once that's done, I'm going to add another helping of potatoes on top of this, and then I'm going to layer that with another layer of cheese. So after I've added that final layer of cheese, I'm going to pour in that heavy cream mixture that we were cooking the potatoes in. Those potatoes were releasing some starch, so that will help the sauce thicken up once you put it in the oven. So I'm going to also add a little bit more cheese on top as well as some Parmesan cheese. So I'm going to add a little bit more of cheddar cheese and some Parmesan cheese. And then I'm going to bake this in the oven for about 30 minutes. And I'm going to put this on 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it's finished baking, I'm going to let it sit out for another 20 minutes so that it sets. While that's going on, I'm going to make the steak, and I'm using my favorite seasoning from Spanglish Asadero, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on both sides. And I got a cast iron skillet ready with some butter and some olive oil, and I'm going to sear each side for about 5 to 7 minutes. And once these sides, finish searing, on each side, I'm going to add those into the oven, again at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to let that bake in the oven for about 30 minutes. This will be well done. That's the way I like it, so just letting you know that's how long I'm baking it for. Now let's get over to the shrimp. So I'm going to rinse these shrimp off, and after rinsing them off, I'm going to pat them dry so that I'm draining out as much water as possible. And then the next step that I'm going to do is add these to a bowl, and I'm going to cover them with some olive oil, and then I'm going to add another of my favorite seasonings, which is from Kinder's, the chili Verde seasoning. So I'm going to sprinkle some on top of the shrimp, and then I'm going to mix that together. And before I add this to the pan, I'm going to make sure that the pan is hot. I'm using a cast iron skillet, and I've added some olive oil, and then I'm going to sear these shrimp. These are some thick tiger shrimp, so these I actually cooked for about 5 minutes on each side. So now that everything is done, I normally would like to let things cool off a bit, but because I started cooking late in the day, I had to hurry up and make my husband's to-go container that he takes to work. It's like a large, like Glad, um, plastic, to-go container. So I usually like to let the food cool off a little bit before he takes it, but we have to rush today. And I would have liked to have let this scalloped potatoes set a little bit more, but that's okay. I mean, he still liked it. He called me and told me that was really good. So yeah, so this is all that I do behind the scenes and to make sure that his belly is happy and that my belly is happy too when it's time for me to eat dinner. And again, this is lunchtime for him, which is in the evening. But yeah, so if you would like to see more recipes like this, don't forget to subscribe as well as share and like and to comment on anything that you've seen. Thanks and have a great day.